Joining me now is Arizona Senator John McCain. Senator, thanks very much for your time this morning. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
So, Senator, we just heard Hillary Clinton. Now, she's the former Secretary of State. She knows the vetting process, I assume. In terms of the state of the world right now, how difficult is the vetting process to actually know who the Syrian refugees are, and are they who they say they are?
I think it's nearly impossible. I think it's pretty obvious that already coming into and partaking in the horrific events in Paris, there was people that came through Greece. So the concern of these governors is very legitimate. And right now, I am not sure that we have a way of vetting these people, especially when I am confident that Mr. Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, has obviously sent them already and has probably sent more. The director of the CIA yesterday made a comment that he thought there was, or there was, operations already in being that are taking place. Then I think the governors are right, but I also believe that we could step back and look at this and make sure that there are individual cases. There are others, humanitarian and others, that we could authenticate. But right now, let's not take anybody until we're sure that somebody who wants to do bad things is not allowed to come here.
Right, because, I mean, the Syrian government is obviously not equipped to give us the details or the specifics on who is who coming out of their country.
Of course not. And again, it's very clear that at least one and maybe more, there's different estimates, could be as many as 6, were in Syria and came out either through Greece in the case of at least one, or moved back and forth. As you know, once they get to Europe, all they need is a plane ticket to get to the United States of America. But Maria, as we focus on this, let me just point out that this is a symptom. This is the result of a failed policy by the President of the United States, who again doubled down on a failed non-existent strategy yesterday, and then took time out to take shots at people like us, saying we want to pop off, and other comments like that, which are very unpresidential to start with. But second of all, we do have a plan, and we've had a plan, and we have said that that plan will work, and people on the level of General David Petraeus, General McCAIN, other very respected people have also said the same thing. And what does he say? That we just pop off, and then the president sets up a straw man saying they want 100,000 troops or nothing, and that's not true. What we want is about 10,000 in a coalition of Arab countries, including probably the French now, I would imagine, and others, where we can go in and take ISIS. They're not 10 feet tall. We can defeat them if we do the right thing, but air power alone won't do it.
Right, so we've seen the airstrikes taking place. Senator, what type of military action do you think is appropriate in response to these attacks in Paris, first off? And then talk to us about this broader strategy that you believe is needed right now.
Well, for years, we have sought a no-fly zone, a place where refugees could have sanctuary. We could train and equip moderate forces, where we could protect innocent civilians from this horrific barrel bombing. Remember, it's Bashar Assad that's killed 240,000 of his people. It's Bashar Assad that has caused to a large degree these millions of refugees. Then we get a coalition force composed of mainly Arab, hopefully some European countries, about 10,000 of ours, about 1/10 of that contingent go in with the use of American air power, and we can take them out. And with the no-fly zone, with the armed, train, and equip, with the sanctuary, with the forces coalition, that is a specific proposal the president says we don't have. That is a specific proposal which, frankly, has been endorsed by most experts and people who, like General Petraeus and General McCAIN and others, who were successful in the surge back when we succeeded before the president pulled everybody out.
Senator, is there anything that Congress can do about this? I mean, you know, you're getting lots of ideas. Obviously, you have had this feeling and have been vocalizing it for some time, but it seems like people are powerless because the president, as he decides what the answer is, will go around Congress and do an executive action. So is there any way to stop the current strategy in place and that strategy of, leading from behind?
Well, I think obviously we'll have hearings, including in the Senate Armed Services Committee, and we will be looking at different pieces of legislation. But what I'm hoping now, Maria, is that this, as tragic as it was, and by the way, it's not the only tragedy in Paris. What about the Russian families of those 224 that were lost there? What about those who died in Beirut in these bombings, these continued terrorist attacks orchestrated by ISIS as they are, quote, contained? So I think that this is probably a catalytic event that maybe the American people will demand something besides, in fact, a lot more than what the president said yesterday, which was really almost embarrassing.
Two quick questions for you, Senator, before you go. First off, there are some people who feel that ISIS is already in the country. Do you believe that there are ISIS fighters in America right now?
Well, they've uncovered numerous plots that we've been able to foil. And by the way, there's the great quote of the terrorist that said, "You have to be lucky all the time. We only have to be lucky once." Mr. Brennan, the director of the CIA, yesterday said that he believed that there were operational things going on. I don't remember his exact words, but that there are cells, that there are active cells that are in the United States today. And so how bad and how serious that is, I wouldn't be surprised.
And what about this sort of new relationship with Russia? The president took to the sidelines in the G20 meeting to talk to Vladimir Putin, and now the two nations have talked about coordinating after there seemed to be a coldness between them. Do you believe that Russia, Vladimir Putin says that he's going to vow to get back at ISIS after taking down that commercial jet? What's your take on America and Russia's involvement together?
I think that our values and what we want are directly contradictory to that of Russia. What Vladimir Putin wants, and he's largely succeeded, reinserting Russia into the Middle East. They haven't had that kind of influence since Anwar Sadat threw him out of Egypt in 1973. Protect his base that the Russians have there on the Mediterranean. And, of course, prop up Bashar Assad or a stooge that would replace Bashar Assad. We must get rid of Bashar Assad. He's the guy that slaughtered with barrel bombing. He is an evil man. And so the Russian objectives are dramatically opposite from ours. Now, John Kerry and the president in their delusions may seek to do that. It can come to no good if we get in bed with Vladimir Putin.
Senator, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Maria.
We'll see you soon. Senator John McCain joining us in Washington. We're live.